So I hope you ready, man. You want to talk about the Suns? We're gonna get to that.
The Suns, they good money, man.
Okay.
And I'm not just going off a name. They got the pieces, man.
Well, I want you to keep that same energy when we get to that topic. I'm ready. I ain't gonna go gun shy either. Yeah. Y'all cats wanna jump on the KD bandwagon, be my guest.
I'm not jumping on the KD. I'm jumping on the team bandwagon. Like
All
they
right,
got
all
the
right, all right.
pieces.
Just say, look, we not there yet. Save that energy.
It's not bullshit, okay? It's real talk is facts.
What's up? What's up? Welcome to another episode of Debate with Bake. Brought to you by Most Serious Entertainment, of course, in the heart of Most City, Texas. I'm your host with the most, Mr. Charles Baker, aka C Bake. That's my co-host. My boy Gerard Cole, aka Cole, aka Rude Boy. What's going on, Cole?
Chilling over here. It's been a great week. Super Bowl prediction that I predicted early in the year that the Eagles would win. Even though I ain't gonna lie, I jumped off the bandwagon for a couple of weeks when I saw the 49ers, but my original prediction went through. But everything great, man. We definitely gotta talk about that Super Bowl, though, man.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that's gonna be the first thing we get in. We're gonna get into today, but let's pay a few bills before we get started. Before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you follow Most Serious Entertainment on Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe to Most Serious Entertainment on YouTube. Please, please, please support Most Serious. Please support your boy Bake and your boy Cole. All right, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Let's go. Super Bowl 57, I believe. It's them Roman numeral numbers, so I don't know what it is, but I believe it's 57. Chiefs beat the Eagles 38-35. Of course, Kansas City Chiefs are your Super Bowl champions. Impressive win. Some people say, Cole, that it was a controversial call at the end with the call on the hold from the Eagles secondary member, but I think it was a hold. I personally wouldn't have called it.
I wouldn't.
But, however, I really don't like the outcome of the game being affected like that. But, such is such is such. So, but anyway, want to get into this topic. Of course, Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions. Of course, we made predictions. You and I both had the Philadelphia Eagles to win earlier this season, or I know you did for a fact. I can't even remember who I had, but we definitely agreed that the Eagles, as the season progressed, that the Eagles was the superior team in the NFL, both NFC and AFC. However, Chiefs pull it out again, 38-35. Now, I want to talk about this. I want to get into this because I've been stressing this, and you somewhat agree, but I want to talk about it. Again, I posed this question maybe 2 weeks ago, and to some people, it seemed a little bit premature. But again, I want to ask you again, Patrick Mahomes. Peyton Manning came out last week after the Super Bowl win and says Patrick Mahomes he already has a Hall of Fame resume. I seem to agree. I posed that question. If he wins this Super Bowl, could he even possibly, and I'll take it further, and people going to think I'm crazy for this, but a shout out to Jay Campbell. I know he'll be along with this. But I want to ask you this, Cole. Not only does he have a Hall of Fame resume, but is it possible to even mention him in the GOAT conversation? Now, before you spin, I want you to listen to this. I think he's in his what? I don't know how many years he's in the NFL, but
he's been here 4, maybe 5 years.
maybe 4 to 6 years, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. 2-time Super Bowl champ, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time NFL regular season MVP. He's 27 years old, 3-time Super Bowl appearances. Now, Cole, hear me out on this. Again, I'll ask this question again. Have you seen anybody this impressive just based on that resume? I'm not even going off yards or touchdowns or anything, but have you seen anybody? I'm going to rephrase this question again. Have you seen anybody with this type of success this early in their career? I mean, you got to give me my credit on this because I called this. I told you, man, I think Philadelphia, we both agreed that Philadelphia was a superior team. And don't get me wrong, they played well. But I think I told you, man, this guy showed me something at the beginning of the season. I always go back to my point of, I underestimated him because I thought because Tyreek Hill left that they barely had a chance to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But again, like I say, probably after week 6 or so, something like that, I saw Mahomes playing with a chip on his shoulder. But let's go back to the original question. I'm rambling because I'm so excited. But 2-time Super Bowl champ, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time NFL regular season MVP, 27 years old, 3-time Super Bowl or 3 Super Bowl appearances. Number one, does he already have a Hall of Fame resume? And number 2, can we start mentioning him in the GOAT talk?
I say he already has the Hall of Fame resume because he has 2 MVPs and 2 Super Bowl championships and 2 MVPs in the Super Bowl. I think that's already for the NFL, for a sport that has such a short career span. I'll give him a Hall of Fame status. I hate to take away a bit of his shine though. I think that he got this year's MVP based off of just his name and his reputation, because I really do believe Jalen Hurts deserved to be MVP this year.
And I'm okay with that. But I did tell you this. I think you can always be. I think he can always be in the MVP discussion. I've always told you that with his stats.
I feel like he falls under the standard of Giannis, LeBron, right, Michael Jordan as people who can get MVP every single year. And even Joker, people who get based off of stats and what they do every single year. In regards to him being that great of a start as a professional, the only person I could really compare to having that great of a start as a professional might be LeBron James. I think that from day one, LeBron James has been excellent. And I feel like that's how Mahomes has been. He set out his first season underneath Alex Smith, but when he got in there, all he did was look superior than everybody else that was on the field.
And I can agree with you on that as far as personal accomplishments. Mm-hmm. I give Mahomes the slight edge because of the championship accomplishments. But yeah, I can agree with you on that as far as individual accomplishments and individual greatness early in their careers. Yes, LeBron is a perfect, I'm not gonna say perfect, but it's a great comparison. I'm with you on that. Go ahead.
One of the reasons why I give Mahomes a little bit more credit too, now is because he did it with less talent this year. He did it when he wasn't supposed to do it. He did it when the
That's
honey.
That's been my point all year. Yeah. Right. That's been my point all year.
When the honey badger left, he did it when left Tyreek Hill. He did it when Clyde Edwards-Helaire wasn't even playing his best anymore. He lost so many pieces that he was used to having when he was great. He lost his other receiver. I think it was Pringle or one of those other receivers.
Right.
So they brought everyone new, and it showed his ability to adapt to his environment. It showed his ability to raise the level of play with the people around him. And to me, that's what greats do. They raise the level of play of the people around them. And that's what makes, to me, someone a Hall of Fame.
And let me add this to you. Let me add this to what you said. To me, and this is what really impresses me. You know what impresses me about Mahomes the most? We've always seen the arm talent. We've seen, to me, he doesn't really look like a great athlete when you look at his body. He doesn't look like a great athlete, but we found out that, he can make some plays with his legs. But in particular, his arm talent is superior. I mean, maybe other than Aaron Rodgers, as far as just straight up arm talent. I mean, there's a couple other quarterbacks that can be mentioned, but we know he's talented. We know he was a dual sport athlete. He was a great, I think he was a pitcher or outfielder. I don't know, but basically, I think he was a pitcher. So we know he's got the arm talent. But for me, and I'm glad you brought up that point about this year, because I've been screaming it at the top of my lungs, having less talent. To me, what really cements him into greatness for me is his intangibles. And what I mean by that is, for me this year, what he showed me is it's been more than athleticism. It's been leadership. When I think about him winning this championship this year, it's kind of like, you look at the teams that they've had in the past while he's been there as a starting quarterback, they've had more talent. I mean, just more talent. Again, I cannot scream this enough about him losing Tyreek Hill. I was interested to see, and again, I went against him. I was interested to see. I mean, you lose that dynamic playmaker, even though you got Kelsey, and Kelsey is probably the best tight end in the game today, him and Kittle. But to me, and that's big for me. We're gonna talk about another superstar in the NBA later, but that's what I think that superstar has. But I won't name until we get there. Lack is that intangibles, and for me, on this level, the talent has always been superior. But to me, Mahomes really cemented his greatness this year on his ability to lead. That team over there is not as talented as probably a good number of teams that are more talented than the Kansas City Chiefs. If you go, I mean, just go up and down the roster. Of course, Mahomes is athletic. Of course, Mahomes is a special talent. But I think for me, and I told you about that with that press conference after they beat the Bengals, if you see how excited those guys were when he was being interviewed, Mahomes, how they were behind him, it says something about his intangibles. Because at the end of the day, I think me and you can agree, I think his team, along with us that are watching, if they can keep the game somewhat close, his teammates, they believe that they can win with him. And I think so much of his success this year should be attributed to his leadership skills. And that's what cements his greatness for me. That's why more than ever this year he's proven to me that. But I think that's the thing that, to me, I got to put him in that GOAT conversation, and people are going to say I'm crazy for that because, he's still young. But, I mean, think about it. As accomplished as he is, now I'm starting to think that talent, along with his intangibles.
So I have a question for you then. If he never wins another chip again, is he considered a GOAT?
I think in my assessment, yes.
Never wins another Super Bowl again.
Yes, because I think for what he's doing, and don't underestimate this. And the reason why is, again, I want you to go back, if you can, in your mind. We don't have enough time to look it up, but can you think about a quarterback who's won with less talent on the whole team? And think about this. He's only 27 years old.
You talking about winning a Super Bowl or just one, period?
I'm talking about winning a Super Bowl with less talent.
I'll do that, because I was gonna say, you could say Lamar Jackson does the same.
Right. And again, Lamar, we both believe that Lamar is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. And in fact, of course, I would even venture out to say that, Lamar is probably more gifted physically. Of course, he's a better athlete than Mahomes. And I can't even really knock Lamar, because I think, injuries have really, hindered his career.
I actually think it's only sprained ankles that he's really had, that people keep making it seem like he tore his knee or whatever.
Well,
he had a sprained knee. I think what separates the two for me is that I feel like Mahomes is an on-time passer.
Right.
Lamar is a good passer, because if you look at his stats, he has good accuracy, completion. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, but his throws are not sometimes on time.
Right. Well, and in all fairness to Lamar, he's gotten, people are going to criticize me for this, but he's gotten this far because of his athleticism. You know, and I'm not just talking about running. I mean, he has arm strength too. You know, he does things that the average person can't do. And I think Lamar has gotten better with being a more complete pocket passer. I mean, I think people give him, you know, unfair criticism. I thought he was a pretty good pocket passer at Louisville, but you know, people, it's easy to look at his athleticism and say, "Oh, he's a great."
It's the
Yeah,
same thing they say about her. So when they see an athletic quarterback, when they see a black
right,
quarterback
right,
being athletic, it's totally different. Because if you watch
right,
an athletic black quarterback, they say, "Oh, he
right,
can't throw. He's not accurate." But
right,
then
right. And that's why I say I
You see
think
Josh Allen, or you see
right,
someone like even Zach Wilson. They was in armor. Was that he could move? He's mobile.
right,
He
right,
got
right,
different arm angles, and you see how wacky he is.
right.
But
And that's why I say
it's the same.
that's why I echo. I think Lamar has gotten a lot of unfair criticism. You know, they said that he wasn't a good pocket passer. I saw things different. I saw at Louisville. I actually saw him get better at Louisville, but that's for another conversation. But I'm just saying, for me, yes, Mahomes, if he doesn't win another one, I still gotta consider him in that. And people gonna criticize me for that, but I'm just saying, I think we take for granted what he's done. It takes people a whole career to win 2 Super Bowls.
It does.
You know, some people would say that's what cements Brady as the GOAT or one of the GOATs. I mean, 2 NFL regular season MVPs. You know, of course, a lot of people think that the MVP is an offensive award, and I can agree with that. But two times, 2 times Super Bowl MVP. And he's been to 3 Super Bowls. Think about that. Some quarterbacks never make it. Some quarterbacks that are quote unquote great never make it to a Super Bowl. And so at 27 years old, he's been to 3 Super Bowls. And here's the thing: whether it's a team with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, or just Travis Kelce and a bunch of other receivers that we know nothing about, what is the constant factor or the constant players on that team when they made it to the Super Bowl? It's 2 people. It's really 3 people that you can see has been there. That's Andy Reid. I mean, we can even say 4: Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce. And at the end of the day, I think if everything is fair, I'll go out on a limb and say this: I think no doubt people are going to put Kelce in the Hall of Fame. I think no doubt Andy Reid's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I think Mahomes will be in the Hall of Fame. I think Mahomes has done enough right now to be in the Hall of Fame. And I think Eric Bieniemy, based on his work at Kansas City, now some people are going to say, well, you know, that'll be the one that people don't give a lot of credit. And some people will say about this podcast, like, you giving Eric Bieniemy? Yes, because I think Eric Bieniemy is the architect or one of the big architects behind his offense. He doesn't get a lot of credit. I still, for the life of me, and we'll talk about this later, why he's not getting more consideration for head coaching jobs. It's asinine to me, you know, the success that he's had. So at the end of the day, it's 4 figures that's constant behind this team with the 3 Super Bowl appearances: 2 coaches, 2 players. At the offensive end,
5 people, because you forgetting Spagnuolo too. Spagnuolo's
Spagnuolo. Yeah, Spagnuolo, you know. But at the end of the day, I think for Kansas City, most people can agree that what's been the most potent tool for that team has been the offense. Well, who's at the head of that offense? It's Patrick Mahomes. And I don't think we've seen anything. We've seen different aspects of Mahomes' game on other quarterbacks. Like, we've seen guys with talented arms. We've seen guys that don't turn the ball over. We've seen guys that can make plays with their legs. But if you think about this, who's been able to put it together like Patrick Mahomes, to where, you know, I don't know, other than the Tampa Bay game, I don't know if you can sit down and say there's something we can do to stop Mahomes other than keep him off the field. And Philadelphia almost pulled that off, you know, on Sunday. So I just think, yes, I think right now people have to consider him to be a Hall of Famer if he was to quit today. And I think, you know, I think he could be in GOAT talk, you know, but
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know who had his type of potential? You might think I'm crazy because he never went to the Super Bowl, but I don't think he ever had a team around him. But I think Andrew Luck had that type of talent that Mahomes had.
You know what? And I agree with that. I agree with that. I just think Luck got hurt.
Yeah,
I think Luck got hurt.
the concussions and everything.
Right. And I just think, I know when I used to watch him with the Colts,
Mm-hmm.
and the one thing I could remember about him, and I had a friend of mine, he loved Andrew Luck. He made me actually hate him. But when I really started to really key in on Andrew Luck, you could never count him out of any game.
Yep.
And there was nothing on the field he couldn't do.
Exactly.
So I don't think he was the athlete speed-wise as Mahomes, but as far as intangibles and what the mechanics he had, yeah. I could agree with you on that. I just think his career was cut short because of injuries. All right, let's talk about the Eagles. In particular, I want to talk about Jalen Hurts because I'm really impressed with him. And what I mean by that is, let's think about this. He's the first quarterback to have rushing TDs in the Super Bowl.
Three rushing TDs.
Was it 3? Yeah, it was 3. I didn't say 3, but yes, 3 rushing. He's still on a rookie contract, but his improvement from last year to this year, and I tell you what, to watch him perform in that Super Bowl was incredible to me. And what I saw, you tell me if you disagree, but what I saw was, his ability to run, we know about that. And the thing about how he runs, Cole, it's not nothing that, he doesn't have Lamar-like speed, but it just seems like when I'm watching him run, you ever saw somebody similar to Mahomes, but Jalen's is a little bit different. But you ever seen anybody that knows when to run and know how to run? And what I mean by that is, and maybe it's his ability, how he values possession so well, but I feel like when I was watching that Super Bowl, he knew when to run, he knew when to get the extra yards. And what I mean by win is like, sometimes some quarterbacks get happy feet. Sometimes it's like, dude, you didn't have to run in that situation. It just seems like his decision-making with his running is just like when he ran the ball in the Super Bowl, it was like, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
You know who he reminds me of is Steve McNair.
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
Steve McNair was like that. I felt like he always knew when to run.
And what really impressed me about him is, on top of that, when to run, it's like, we know his running is impressive, but I saw a guy that, he threw the ball well. I don't think he turn the ball over except that one time where that I think that was the I don't know what happened on that snap, but he lost the ball and it was just crazy. But other than that, he was accurate on his passes. He hit the receivers right where they needed to be. He just, I guess the word I'm looking for when I talk about his running, his passing, to me, he just had great command of that offense. He never looked like he was out of control. He never looked like he made a bad decision. Everything just looks so smooth. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, you know what? This guy across the board looks like one of the best quarterbacks that's ever played in the Super Bowl. Now, some people gonna kill me for that, but what I saw from him, I said to myself, and I gave the Eagles defense a lot of credit throughout the season. I still think they had a stout defense. I just think they ran into Mahomes and Andy Reid. But they very well could have won that game just based off that offense. And I think much of that offense comes from the command of Jalen Hurts. But Cole, let me ask you this question. Based on last year to this year, the improvement, which I think has been great. I never thought Jalen was a bad player, but I think this year he just seems so much more polished and more confident. He's coming in on the tail end of a rookie contract. What do you think? Take a guess. If you were the Eagles, what do you think he's worth coming up? Of course, he's got another season on his contract, but what would you think as a GM? Because to me, he checks all the boxes, and it's hard for me not to attribute a lot of that success to that team. We talk about command, and we talk about him having the confidence of his teammates, much like Mahomes. What do you think he's worth? I think he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league. But I want to ask you, because you're very good on numbers and GM talk. What would you think?
I would say, for one, I felt like he earned everything he got. Even when he first started, there was doubts about him. I think Doug Penderson or Peterson, I think that was Penderson, I think it is. He had Carson Wentz playing at the time. Then eventually he had faith in Hurts. Hurts came and did his thing. I actually felt they kind of messed them up from making even a bigger payday, because that year that they would have made the playoffs, he pulls them out in the second half of that game that would have determined them going to the playoffs. And I don't know if they did it on purpose to get better playoff, a draft position to draft, but I actually thought he was going to make the playoffs then, and he was good then. But to see him incrementally get better and better and become consistent, you could tell, one, he's a student of the game. I think that going to college and dealing with the adversity of being a starting quarterback at Alabama, losing it, going to Oklahoma State, and and being a man about it, and winning over there, and then coming over to the NFL and having nothing given to him, and he had to earn everything. I think he showed the commitment to the game, to himself, to his teammates. At his work is that he's not gonna take it lightly. And going to the Super Bowl this early in his career after being doubted, I think it puts him in the top 4 quarterbacks of paydays.
Right.
And right now we got Mahomes, we got Allen. I think Herbert just got paid, or he's about to get paid, and we're waiting for Lamar Jackson to get paid. But after seeing I think he's worth 55. I think he's worth 55 million a year.
Right.
I think he's worth 55 million. I think Mahomes is gonna redo his contract, because I think he deserves it.
Right.
But I also think that Hurts needs to be top 4 in the game.
Right.
Matter of fact, I might even say top 2, because he went to the Super Bowl. Lamar and Allen haven't been to the Super Bowl yet, nor Herbert. So right. I think you might have to make him the second highest paid quarterback in the league.
And I can get on board with that, because I don't think, and I was going to say that, I'm glad you said that. I don't think Lamar, as much as Lamar and Josh, as good as they are, when I look at them versus Hurts, and I'm talking about Hurts from his progression from last year to this year, I'm starting to see both of them, meaning Jackson and Josh. I'm starting to see them as more individual acts. And what I mean by that, if you look at the play of Mahomes and you look at the play of Hurts, in particular in this Super Bowl, I just think that they're more valuable, and they show they're more team oriented. And hear me out on this. With Josh Allen, I think about a highlight film. Some of the things that he's able to do individually, and that's not no knock on him. He's a freak athlete. And I think Buffalo lives and dies by some of the incredible plays that he makes. Lamar Jackson is the same way. I think Lamar is individually, he's great. Some of the things he's able to do. But again, like we talking about with Hurts, and we talked a little bit about Mahomes, the command of the team, the command of the pocket, making the necessary plays, meaning that passing when I need to pass, run when I need to run, throw the ball away. Sometimes Josh Allen, he gets a little bit too athletic. And what I mean by that is sometimes he tries to force plays. And I think at times that hurts Buffalo. Not going to really say that about Lamar. Sometimes I think I want Lamar to use his pocket presence a little bit more, because he can. He definitely can, and he show you can. But I just think with Hurts, man, it hurts. And Mahomes, like I said, with Hurts, and you talking about it now, but with Hurts is like he knows when to run, he knows when not to turn it over, he knows when to make a pass. Even if he's got a big play down the field, if it doesn't make sense, he knows how to check off. He doesn't get too arrogant or too maverick in his play. Sometimes Josh Allen gets too maverick. I'm going to make something happen. I'm going to try to squeeze a ball in between two defenders. I don't see that with Hurts. I guess the word I'm using, Cole, what I'm thinking about is poise.
I don't even think it's always poise either. I think when you watch Mahomes and Hurts, I feel like they trust their teammates. They trust to say that, you know what, I'm
Right.
going to
I
pass.
think that's what we both saying.
Yeah,
Poise, trust of teammates,
yeah, to this
knowing
fourth
when,
option.
knowing when to do this, knowing when to let these guys make a play, knowing when for him to make a play.
Yep. That I could give it to the fourth receiving option because I seen him in practice and I know he's gonna make a play. And I know by giving it to him, I'm gonna build his confidence. And later on in the season or later on in the game, I can
Right.
come back to this person because I gave them a little bit more self-belief and self-confidence in themselves. I
Right.
feel like when it comes to Buffalo and even sometimes Lamar Jackson, I think they pass to the same people because maybe that's who they trust. And
Right.
it's kind of like you have a coach and you have certain players that you have. You only want to play this rotation because this is who you trust. You don't trust other people. And I think that's the difference between great teams and average teams is that the great teams, you have the teams like the Milwaukee Bucks and the teams like the Warriors that play everybody, all 15 players on their roster throughout the season. Popovich playing the bench for and letting them start and say all the starters because he builds a confidence and trust. And I feel like that's the leadership that Hurts
Right.
and
That's what we're
Mahomes
talking about.
display.
Right.
And I
Right.
think they create a culture. And I think that's even more powerful is that I feel like they're the epitome of the culture that they're trying to create for their team.
Exactly. Exactly. Great point. Let's move on. Ain't nothing else to add on that. All right, let's talk about this topic. I'm interested to hear you talk about this topic. The Raiders have finally released Derek Carr.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we know it's been documented that there's interest between the Saints, your Jets, and I think the Panthers have entered this contest. And these three we know for a fact have interest in Derek Carr. Let me ask you this, and then I'll give my opinion. Of course, the Saints could use him. I like the Jets because I think that's all the Jets need. I think the Jets have, I think they and they don't, and what I mean about the Jets is this. I don't think the Jets need a maverick Josh Allen. I think they need a cool, calm, collective game manager, a guy that can make some plays if need be. I think Derek Carr fits that, and I think the psychological makeup of Derek Carr, it fits that Jets team. You don't need a quarterback to come in and be Mr. Perfect. You just need a quarterback that don't turn the ball over and manage the game. And every now and then, if you have to improvise and make plays, we know Derek Carr can do that. And of course, the Panthers, they've had, the quarterback position has been abysmal for them for the last couple of years. But who do you think, what's a perfect fit for Derek Carr? If you his agent, what do you think what team do you think he fits?
So, and I don't want to sound biased because the Jets is my squad, but I'll tell you my reasons why I think he's the perfect fit for the Jets.
Perfect.
I like his character. I love the way that he always stands by his teammates. Even the Alabama receiver that got into the car accident in Las Vegas and killed somebody. I love the fact how he was still supportive while also saying respectful to the victim's family. But he's always been that type of person to support his teammates in every single situation, never dog them, never, say anything bad about them. Even the way that he left the Raiders, I felt like was with class. So he's the type of person you want in your organization because it's not about him. He's about maintaining a good professional culture. He seems like he's a man of integrity, but I think the other part of it is that he's 31. I feel like he's the age range of where you got a mix of a couple of old heads on the Jets, but you have a bunch of young people coming in where I think he could serve as a great role model with his character. He's proven as far as being a steady professional. I would love to see his interception numbers come down, but I think the style of play that we have, like you said, he just needs to be a game manager, get it to the playmakers, and let them make plays because they will make the plays. And I feel like he meshes that emotional state with Salah, our coach. I feel like he's a perfect fit for that. I don't like in like someone like Aaron Rodgers for us because like right now Aaron Rodgers is playing that game that a lot of professional athletes have been playing of late. Oh, I'm going on sabbatical. I'm gonna take time off to think about this. he already know what he doing. He just loving his limelight. He loving what's coming to him or whatever. And I think where the Jets need to be concerned with this whole situation is that you wait for Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Rodgers chooses to stay with Green Bay or go to the Raiders. Now you're going to miss out on Carr. So for me, take Carr because he fits your timeline. He's not going to be too expensive. You don't have to trade any draft picks or anything away from him. So he's not going to lose any tools if you come to the Jets because you're just going to pay him outright as a free agent. Everyone else, I feel like, when it comes to the Saints, I feel like Saints is cool. Michael Thomas has been in and out the lineup the last 3 years as receiver. You don't know if he's coming back. You do have the other kid that came from Ohio State. I feel like it begins with a C. He's a really good receiver. What's it? Alave.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Alave or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You have a number one receiver over there, but I still feel like Alvin Kamara, he's on his downside. I feel like his backup was Ingram. He's on his downside. I don't feel like he has the pieces for him to win now, although that division is not the strongest division. So if he wants an automatic playoff appearance, I think he wants to stay in that conference with a team like the Saints. The third team you mentioned was
Panthers.
The Panthers. Panthers have a really nice defense. I feel like the Panthers, the Jets, and a couple of other teams are set up to win now. It all depends. I think if he don't want the scrutiny of the media of New York, he goes to the Panthers because that'd be the second best option for him. But if he wants to be remembered as an all-time great, possibly go to the Hall of Fame or be mentioned as one of the great quarterbacks in this era, he goes to the Jets and win because we haven't been to the playoffs in umpteen years, man. It's been we're the last team to go to the playoffs. I think it's been almost 2005, maybe. I can't remember. It's been a minute.
Right, and I out of those three teams, I agree. I think the Jets are a perfect fit. I'm gonna name. I got another dark horse team I want to talk about, but I agree with you on that. I think that's all the Jets really need. I think the Jets have done a great job of building that team. One thing I give the Jets a lot of credit is I think over the years they've done a good job of building, especially on defense, building a solid defense. I like you guys as running back, and I think your offensive line is underrated. I think the quarterback position has been the one thing that's been in question. And I agree with you for all
that. And if you think about it, if you put Carr there now, and I was listening to Michael Kay, the radio announcer for the Yankees. He has a show on ESPN radio. Carr is probably be the best quarterback that we had since Joe Namath, if he came here. Chad Pennington was probably the second best. After that, we had Gino, Darnold, Testaverde. We haven't had anyone of quality.
You have, well, okay, yeah, I can agree with that.
I was thinking anyone of quality.
I was thinking of Boomer, but Boomer was on his Jets years with nothing like he was in Cincinnati.
Yeah, we had no one of quality. The last, maybe Testaverde, he went to the playoffs a couple times, but the last good quarterback we had was Chad Pennington, probably outside of Joe Namath. Right.
You know what? You might be right about that, but I think he fits the Jets simply because I like the part you said about him being class. I mean, my God, in Vegas, Oakland, whatever you want to call it, I think he was there when they was in Oakland. I mean, how many different offensive coordinators this guy's had? He hasn't complained. I think a few years in there, they may have made the playoffs, maybe bounced out of the first round. I mean, all the adversity that he went through with teammates and coaches and everything like that, the guy has remained a constant professional. So yes, I think that's exactly what the Jets need. And I think his personality, his cool personality is great. And it's a great compliment to a guy like a Sauce Gardner. Guys that have a little bit more pop, a little bit more personality. That's exactly what I want my quarterback to be. I want him to be cool, calm, and collective, and I want him not to turn the ball over. I think that's a great fit. But I also think this, when I was thinking about this, and I wanted to ask you this, not only do I think the Jets is a great situation, I think Miami's a great situation. I think with Miami, I mean, think about Miami. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Tyreek Hill is over there. You got Waddle over there. You got a stout defense, much like the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Miami made it to the playoffs. If you think about what Miami struggled with this year, what was it? Quarterback play. And I think Tua, I'm all positive about Tua. I'm concerned about his health, in particular the head injuries.
Mm-hmm.
You got big personalities over there in Miami. I think Carr would fit over there perfectly.
Yeah, I think he would.
Yeah. I think that's what they need too. I think the Jets and the Dolphins are similar. They might be. I think the only difference may be, of course, Tyreek Hill is an X factor, but I still think
Waddle. Don't sleep on Waddle. Waddle's
right. I mean, of course, their receiving core I think is better than the Jets, but I love the Jets. I love you guys as running back though. I love the running game, but I think the defenses are both stout. I think both defenses are nasty.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys, and you've said this before on this show, Gardner is a superstar in the making. I think he won Rookie of the Year, right? Defensive Rookie of the Year?
We won Defensive and Offensive Player of the Year with with Wilson. He won Offensive Player of the Year at receiver, catching over 1,000 yards.
Right. So I mean, the Jets are definitely a perfect fit. I think Miami, I'm not gonna say Miami is a better fit, but I just think with Miami, with Carr, you got more established receivers over there. However, the Jets are stout. I love the Jets running game. The running game would complement the Jets running game would complement Carr very well.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't have to take, he wouldn't be under pressure to take a lot of big shots down the field. He could really game manage. But I mean, you think about what Tua did, and I like Tua. I'm just concerned about his health. And I think if you're Miami, Tua may be, he's had a chance. He was somewhat successful this year, but the injuries.
Yeah.
But think about putting Carr over there with Waddle.
You have me also thinking about putting Aaron Rodgers over there. Can you imagine Aaron Rodgers?
Well, Aaron Rodgers, talent-wise, I have some questions about his personality and his leadership. Mm-hmm. His talent is off the chain, of course. But the thing about Aaron Rodgers, and you said it, I don't like the media circus. I don't like I don't want to know. And for me, Aaron Rodgers, much like a lot of high talented athletes, for the amount of talent that he has, I don't think Aaron Rodgers really has any weaknesses physically. Mm-hmm. But it's something about Aaron Rodgers, the media, the comments. Maybe he made the comment about when the vaccine was, I've been immunized, and I'm like, who says stuff like that?
He remind me of? He's like the Kyrie Irving of football.
Man. Exactly. You don't know if he, then it's like, think about the years he held Green Bay hostage because they didn't know. He kept the franchise in limbo because they didn't know what he was going to do. And, I just don't like the fact that I think with Miami, definitely the talent. Yes. If he had somewhat of the character that Jalen Hurts had, he could go to Miami and win a Super Bowl, I believe. Mm-hmm. But it's just his character for me. I don't like the guy. That's a very poor take, but I just don't like the character of the guy. Mm-hmm. But think about Carr. Think about Carr going to Miami. Think about Carr, his character. Think about when Tyreek may get a little crazy in the media or things like that. Think about an even keel quarterback who's, you don't need a Lamar. You don't need a superstar quarterback. Doesn't hurt. You need a guy that can come in and that can just be a steady personality. I like Miami too.
Yeah, he could. I feel like he'll have that the worst case scenario, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Exactly.
Take you to the Super Bowl as long as you play football the right way. You go to Super Bowl. I don't know if he'll win it, but you'll always be competing because he's always gonna keep you in the game.
And I think with that coach down there too, he fits as well. Mm-hmm. Miami's coach, So I mean, the kind of laid back, he's not really a fiery guy.
Yep.
I mean, but he gets things done. I mean, the guy is kind of wacky down in Miami, but I think, I think the even kill of Derek Carr, and then, I think Derek Carr, the veteran, he's a veteran.
Yep.
I think that's what Miami needs. I think that's what the Jets, I think both of them need veteran leadership. They got young, stout guys. I just think Carr would also fit in Miami.
Yeah.
Definitely the Jets. Definitely the Jets, but I think Miami is another good place for Carr.
Yeah, I love that Miami take. I definitely love that Miami take.
All right. Let's stay in the NFL. Let's get to the NFL coaching changes. Now, you brought up the topic, and I think it's a great topic to talk about. And we talked about this topic with other coaches as well. But right now, you got a lot of coaches getting opportunities, and the question is, these coaches are getting opportunities, and there's other coaches that it's just crazy to me that they're not getting opportunities. In this article you sent, the Denver Broncos just hired Sean Payton.
Mm-hmm.
The Cardinals hired Jonathan Gannon. He's the Eagles defensive coordinator, I believe. You got the Indianapolis Colts hiring Shane Steichen. He's the Eagles offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these, the two coaches I just named, just came from the Eagles Super Bowl team.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Wright is going to the Carolina Panthers. I don't know. Of course, the Texans with D'Amico Ryans, I think he did earn that. And I'm not saying that these guys didn't earn this, but again, I bring up Jim Caldwell. I bring up Eric Bieniemy. I bring up Byron Leftwich. The offensive coordinator for Tom Brady with the Tampa Bay Bucks when they won. And then, he had competitive seasons. And the thing about Leftwich too is, you got him winning a Super Bowl as an offensive coordinator. First of all, outside of the Patriots. Second of all, you got him winning a Super Bowl with a quarterback who's 40 plus years old, who cannot scramble out of the pocket. So which means that he's got to be able to make plays. I mean, of course, I give Brady credit for not turning the ball over. He gets rid of it. But I mean, Leftwich in particular and Bieniemy, I don't get it. And for me, Bieniemy, I don't know what's going on. Somebody told me this one day. I can't think of what it is. It's like, well, maybe they're saving Bieniemy to kind of, take the place of Andy Reid whenever he leaves. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a bunch of baloney. That may be, but I just think I don't know if Bieniemy's not getting interviews, but I'm not hearing anything. So, and if he is, why isn't the NFL letting us know that he's getting interviews?
So this is my issue when I see the two coaches, for instance, Shane Steichen,
right,
and Jonathan Gannon. They both just came off the Eagles, which I think they both did a great job being coordinators for the Eagles. But you have, and we're going to go off the last 3 Super Bowls. You have Brian Leftwich, you have Raheem Morris, and you just had what's his name for his second Super Bowl that he just won, Eric Bieniemy.
Right.
It's just so disappointing to see all these coaches that went through the system, who's been coaches, either been previous coaches like Raheem Morris or just been in the league for so long, to never receive another opportunity, to see them bring in people that just never even had experience. But then you see a Lovie Smith get let go. You see Wilkes not get the job with the Panthers. You see Wright get recycled after he just had a bad tenure. So you pretty much tell me that you could do bad at a job and then get rehired at the next job the next year. Like, at what places do you do that? Like, imagine me running a college and I did bad and was reported I did bad, but now you pick me up at the next college.
And then just to add to that list, we talked about this before. The guy from the Cowboys, Kellen Moore, it's an upgrade to the Chargers with Justin Herbert. He goes from Dak to Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
And I mean,
and when we take the jobs, we gotta take the jobs like the Houston Texans.
Right.
Take a job with no quarterback. So now they could give you your 3 years and say, oh, we don't want you no more. They drafted enough players to start to be good a little bit, and then they're gonna pick up a quarterback in the draft, and then the person's gonna be good, and then they're gonna let the black coach go, and then bring the white coach in. And I just feel like I'm tired of seeing that. I'm tired of seeing us have to take the worst job. Like even when Flores took the Miami job when no one was there.
And I was getting ready to say that, right? I was getting ready to add to that. You think about Ryan's and Flores. Like, think about Ryan's. Think about the chaos that the Texans are in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about even when Lovey came here. Like, even when Lovey came to Houston, it was like the circus that, I mean, what was my guy, David Culley? And I love David Culley, but he had no head coaching experience. I don't even think he ever been a coordinator here. I think he was a positions coach. Think about what Lovey had to do to come in and then be blamed for that and then be let go after 1 year, losing Deshaun Watson, which he had nothing to do with. I mean, that happened before Lovey, but I mean, what did Lovey have to work with down here? Now look at D'Amico Ryans, the success that he had in San Francisco. And I get it. Some people say, well, you know what? That's what happens when you're a defensive coordinator and you have to, yeah, okay, sure. But again, let's look at Kellen Moore. You know, the Cowboys went to the playoffs. The Chargers went to the playoffs. The Cowboys have a middle-of-the-pack quarterback. He gets elevated to the LA Chargers to Justin Herbert, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
It's crazy, man.
Now think about Ryans going from that defense to what defense is he going to? And I know he's the head coach, but just think about the mess he got to clean up down here.
And then if you don't clean it up, he's blamed for it.
Exactly.
And then they'll say, "Oh, we hired a black quarterback," but he
a black coach, right? And exactly. And the thing is, it's like, man, the guy has got to get. The guy has got to. He gets a head coaching job, and he has to start below ground zero. Because not only was this a bad team, this is a bad organization from the front office all the way to, all the employees. So, I mean, you're 100% right on this topic. The only thing, I'm just going to stay with the Houston example. The only thing that I'm happy for Ryans is he got a 6-year deal versus his predecessor, Smith, who got a 1-year deal. And I think David Culley got a 1-year deal or something like that. So at least he has that. But I'm with you. I don't understand. For me, Bieniemy is the biggest. I don't understand. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Arguably the best quarterback in the league. And we know he's at least been to 2 Super Bowls. I think he's won 2 Super Bowls as an offensive coordinator. And it's like he's the league's best kept secret, even though
and he's blackballed. I feel like the only way, and that's why he's there. He's considering going to the Washington Commanders because he's trying to prove that, hey, like what's going on in Kansas City is not just a product of Andy Reid, but it's me.
Right.
And it's crazy that he wins 2 Super Bowls and have to prove himself, but you get 2 dudes who just left, Philadelphia after winning Super Bowls get jobs right away.
Or even then, I'll stay with Houston, Bill O'Brien. I mean, Bill O'Brien gets credit for, I guess, being Tom Brady's offensive coordinator. It's a head coaching job. Right out of getting a head coaching job, he gets to be a GM. He gets to be elevated to Belichick status without even earning it. He fails terribly in Houston. He goes back down to the college level to Alabama. I guess he does all right there. And then I think he's back in the NFL again.
But look at where even you said Alabama's like being with the Cowboys.
Exactly.
So it's not like they probably got more clout than the Texans.
Exactly. Yeah, and you're not far off by saying that.
So
no, yeah, man. I think we got to keep talking about it. I think it's a great topic. I'm glad you brought it up because we have to keep talking about it. It's for me in particular, the NFL is just done a terrible job of that. It's done a terrible job. Not to mention, like I said, my man Jim Caldwell. He's put his name out there that he still wants to coach. I mean, he's never coached bad. So it's just like it doesn't make any sense to me. But some people want to say we always talk about race, but it definitely seems like that. All right, let's shift gears. Let's get to the National Basketball Association because I am eager for you to sell me on this. So Mr. Cole, ladies and gentlemen, seems to think that the Phoenix Suns based on the recent trade of Kevin Durant, are going to win the West? And please tell us why and how, because I totally disagree with this. I don't know why everybody keeps. It's like everywhere this guy goes, everybody thinks that they're instant contenders. So you tell me why in the ever-present competitive West with this guy's track record.
So let's correct that. So I never thought that they were instant contenders in Brooklyn. So I'm gonna correct that because I didn't think Brooklyn had the pieces around him for him to be great. And I already knew that Irvin was always injured. I was never one to say that, oh, they're gonna win a chip because he's in Brooklyn. Just didn't feel that way. I will say.
Okay, hold on. Tell us why.
Why?
Elaborate why you thought.
Because they gave away too much. They didn't have the proper bench. They didn't have the proper pieces to play roles. And I think regardless of how much talent you have on the team, you still need role players. When you had the Bulls, you had Scotty, Jordan, Kukoc, and even Kerr hitting jump shots and everyone doing what they need to, but everyone bought into a role that I'm going to be the rebounder. I'm going to be the person that's going to be the defensive stopper. I'm going to be the person that's going to play the Bill Lambert role and hack somebody and foul someone hard, whatever it may have been. But I felt like they didn't have consistency either in their lineups as far as people being healthy, people being available. So I never thought he was going to win anything in Brooklyn. And I already thought that teams like Boston and Philly and other teams had great teams. So, but now it's totally different. And I'm going to tell you why it's different. One, because when he comes to Phoenix, Durant only has to do what Durant does, which is score. Not only does he only have to do is score, but he comes to a team where he's playing with people who are always available and someone who could already play the Kyrie Irving role and be a secondary scorer who's consistent top flight, which is Booker. Okay. Booker can get buckets just like Irving. Don't get me wrong on that. Booker could get buckets just like Irving. He could score with the best of them in the league. Then you have a veteran point guard who's proven from New Orleans to the Clippers to Phoenix, and I think and to even OKC. Everywhere he goes, he wins. Everywhere he goes, he makes people better. He provides that leadership where even KD doesn't even have to get on the microphone. He's playing in a place where he could be comfortable in Phoenix where they're not going to stress him about everything. So he's already comfortable from that aspect. Then you got a two-way center, a center who rebounds, plays defenses, and can score. Ayton can do all that. When Ayton wants to play, he's not beefing with people. Ayton, the year that he went to the finals, Ayton was giving you 20 and 10, 18 and 10, whatever it was. Even this year, he shows that he could be a double-double effective, and he can defend the rim. So you got a low-post player. When the game slows down, you could throw it into Ayton, he can give you a bucket. You got a close game. When the game gets tight, you need someone to go to. You go to Durant or Booker. And don't get me wrong. What's his name could pick his spots and dominate the game too, Chris Paul. Now where it comes in is, and you have one of the best X and O coaches. You have a top 5 coach in the league with Monty Williams. Now you have your bench that you just need to fill out. You got Cameron Payne, solid backup. You just pick up Ross, who's going to be a solid, 7th man, 8th man off the bench. They might pick up Carmelo. I'm not sure. We're not going to go off of what they may do or whatever. They got Josh Okogie, great defender. And there's another player that they had who was a solid defender. But in my opinion, Grizzlies can't play with them. Grizzlies can't score with them. Dallas can score with them, but I don't think they have the depth to play with them. The Lakers, they're not going to make the playoffs. And if they make the play-in, they're probably going to lose in the play-in. I don't believe in the Lakers at all, especially LeBron's foot being hurt. The Clippers, I don't know if – my thing is I think they have the talent to beat them, but I just don't think, the 2 stars will play all the time. Well, I think Paul George will play. I just don't know if Kawhi is going to be healthy. And that's my guy. Denver is the only team that could derail it because I feel like Denver has the deepest team. Denver has the best player or the top 3 player in the NBA with Joker. It will depend on how Murray is he fully healed to where he could return to the bubble Murray, where he could give you 3 40-point games in a row in the playoffs. But when you look at everything on the table, I just don't see people having enough talent to match up with Phoenix, and they have the floor general to bring it together with Chris Paul. And Chris Paul to me is the X factor because I think he brings people together. He knows how to put people in the spots to win. He's going to know when to feed Devin Booker. He's going to know when to feed Durant. He's going to know when to make what's his name, Ayton happy, and they're going to spread the floor. You can't double team nobody anymore. So,
well, here's the thing. You got a couple of flaws to me, in my opinion. Number one, Ayton. You talk about Ayton being a consistent, and I'll give you that. He did show that. I think in that finals, would you say he's 20 and 10 a couple of times in that finals in that series? But here's the thing. The thing about Ayton, I think that you're not taking into consideration is now that you got Durant and you got Booker, Ayton's shots are not going to be there. He's not going to touch the ball like he usually would touch the ball.
I disagree.
No. Let me tell you why. You got Durant he's going to get his shots, correct? You have to give Durant the type of scorer he is. He has to get shots, right? Okay. And then Booker, you're definitely going to run plays for Booker, right? Okay, so you honestly think between those two, because you're talking about DeAndre Ayton's production, you honestly think that it's going to be, I'm not going to say he's not going to, I'm going to say this. He's not going to get his average that he got in the finals. They're not going to throw the ball to him. He's going to have to get his points off a rebound and run the floor. Now, he can do that. I'm not saying he can't. But I think with Durant coming there, and you can't say I'm crazy for this, I don't think he gets the shot opportunities that he would get if Durant's not there. Number two, my personal criticism of what you said. Chris Paul, you say and other people say he's won. But what has he won since he's been in the NBA? How close he's gotten to the NFL? He's got to the NBA finals, excuse me. He's gotten to the NBA finals. But you and I know, and we talked about this, and you agree with me on this, one of the other podcasts. First of all, he's not going to be there 82 games. And if he's there, hold on. If he's there, how much can you count on his production? And here's the thing. What you're saying, and I think a lot of people are saying, and that's why I think these points are flawed. You're basing everything off of talent, and you're basing everything off of the best that you've seen each guy give. Yeah, because you can't sit here. Listen, you can't sit here and tell me that Chris Paul is going to be a determining factor to you winning a championship when we both agreed on this podcast that when the playoffs come, hold on. But when the playoffs come, he's either not there or he's not the same Chris Paul. He had a meltdown the last time they went to the finals. I think he had like 7 turnovers.
Let's get this correct, though. You're talking about Chris Paul, who had to be the number 2 option. You're talking about Chris Paul, who has to be the number 4 option. You talking about Chris Paul, who doesn't have to play 30 minutes a game in the playoffs. He could now. Yeah,
but you making it seem like, but when you started your points, you're making it seem like Chris Paul is going to be a factor.
He is.
That's what I'm saying.
He is going to be a factor.
What is he going to do?
I actually think he's going to have more energy to finish games because he doesn't have to do as much with 2 people who could create offense for other people.
Okay, so if he has more energy, what does that translate into on the court?
It translates to him being able to pick his spots to when to be the old Chris Paul to dominate and do the things he needs to do.
That's the point. That's the point. And Phoenix has come out and said it publicly. That's over. He can't do that anymore. He's showing you that he can't do that. No matter how much you rest him, no matter how much you conserve him, no matter how much load management, he's not the same player. And I don't care how you spin it. I don't care if Durant gets more shots, Booker gets more shots, Ayton gets more shots. Because what you're saying is this. You're saying you're depending on him being able to turn back the hands of time.
I don't think he has to. I actually think that.
So then, okay, if he doesn't have to,
I don't think he has to be that great, but he can choose to be great at moments, is what I'm trying to say.
So what is choose to be great when he's shown you in the last couple of years that he has nothing left in the playoffs. That's my point. Like what you're saying is,
the last couple of years. I think that the year
come
before
on,
he went to the
Cole.
final. No, he went to the finals 2 years ago. So you can't.
Yeah, and he had and was that the year he had the ultimate, or was it he had the ultimate meltdown? That's what I'm saying. Like you're sitting up here. That's what I'm saying. Most of y'all, that's my point I'm trying to point out. For most of y'all with this Phoenix Suns fantasy, okay, like Chris Paul, and I'm gonna get to your man Durant in a minute. Like y'all are counting on Chris Paul to be something that he's shown you he can't be anymore.
I think that's the way you're trying to see him, but that's not the way I'm seeing him.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You're choosing. That's my point. You're choosing to see him for what you think he can do if he's showing you. But at the end of the day,
you want to get the perfect example is what you use for LeBron. You said that LeBron.
Yeah, but Gerard,
listen. You're talking about it's AD's team. He needs AD to be this level because he's trying to transition over to what you call. And in the same way you perceiving LeBron to be like that, it's the same way I'm perceiving Chris Paul.
But here's the difference. Here's the difference. LeBron is showing you there's numbers there. There's numbers. LeBron, first of all, the LeBron example doesn't fit because LeBron has been there. LeBron has shown you that he can still give production. That's what I'm saying. Chris Paul is showing you had the same issue in Houston. Chris Paul has shown you that as the year goes by, he's not the same. He can't be the same player. He either gets injured or his production is down. LeBron is showing you that he can still play 3 to 5 years.
But what you're saying, Baker, you're comparing.
No, I know what you're saying. You saying what I'm saying, the role for LeBron, Chris Paul can do that. But here's the thing. I agree with what you're saying. And I think if he's gonna be anything for Phoenix, he's got to fulfill that role. But he's shown you that he can't. He physically can't do that. LeBron is showing you that he has. Now, it doesn't translate into winning because that's what you're gonna say about LeBron. When they're not winning, they're why winning. But at the end of the day, his production is there.
You know, Chris Paul is only averaging 2 points less than when he went to the finals. He's averaging 14 points.
I'm not talking about his play. I'm talking about his availability.
Which I'm telling you is that I don't think his availability will be an issue because now you don't have to play all these minutes up into the playoffs.
It doesn't matter. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. It doesn't matter how many minutes he's playing. He's not the same guy. And for you to build trust in him to be what you think he could be, he's showing you that he can't do it physically. We just said on this podcast 2-3 weeks ago, and the Suns have come out and said, you said it. They have to get younger if they're going to keep him on the squad in his position, meaning that he can't log the minutes. It doesn't matter how good he looks. He can't log the minutes. He can't fulfill an 82-game season. And I hear what you're saying.
With this team, he doesn't have to log 30 minutes. He only has to log 20 minutes a game now.
So now you're saying he only got to log 20 minutes a game, but then you say he's got to be there for them to win. You say he's got to lead.
But he will be there. He only has to be there for the clutch moments.
That's what I'm saying. He's showing you.
He plays 5 minutes in the first quarter, 5 minutes in the second quarter. You sit him for a majority of the third. You play him in the fourth. And that's where you play him in crunch time. Here
you're saying he's got to be there, but he only has to be there, and you're giving me exact minutes. Game by game, this is what you're saying.
I'm saying
game by game.
I can't give you game by game. This is what you're saying. What I'm trying to tell you
just said, right. You said 5 minutes. This is your words. I'm not making this up.
I'm just trying to make it. I'm just trying to simplify. But what I'm pretty much trying to say is that he doesn't have to be there in a number 1 or number 2 or even a number 3 role for them to win.
And so if he's not a number 1, and you're telling me that the Phoenix Suns can win the West without him being a number 1, a number 2, or a number 3 role, if that's the case, Gerard, he doesn't need to be on the floor.
No, that's not correct. All he has to do is play that Jason Kidd role when Jason Kidd was older. All he had to do was make sure he put the team in the right places to win, get the ball to which and
right. But the thing is, Jason Kidd was there. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Chris Paul
that's what
has
Chris
shown
Paul
you.
would be. But Chris Paul
Right.
wasn't there.
That's what I'm saying. You do the same thing with Durant. That's my point. You do the same thing. You always look at the best version of them. And I'm telling you, the past years with Chris Paul, and I'm going to get to your man Durant, because you know how I feel about Durant. You have to go off of, you do it in football. I don't understand why you don't do it in basketball. You have to go off of what they have been in their careers. In the last couple of years of their careers, Chris Paul, even back to us, that's the reason why, and what I mean by us, ladies and gentlemen, in Houston Rockets, the reason why we were not able to get over the hill is because he's injured. And if he's not injured, he's not the same guy productive-wise. He had a meltdown
but that's where my argument comes back.
Like 7 turnovers.
But that's what my argument comes back is when he was with Houston, he was the number 2 option on the team. If he didn't produce, they wouldn't win. Now he's with Phoenix. He doesn't have to be that great. He has to be good, but he doesn't have to be great. I'm not worried about him being good. I already know he's going to be good. He doesn't have to be great.
Anyway, you hope that he's great.
No,
he
doesn't have to be great. He just has to be good.
And see, that's the reason why. That's the reason why y'all have just got back to winning in New York, because y'all always look at this guy can do this and this guy can do that. When you have to take people, and I'm about to get to Durant, you have to take people of what they've shown you. And again, let's go to Durant, because everybody wants to sit here and they do the same thing with Durant, what he could do. Yes, I agree with you. With an established structure, because the only solid case study that we have him being successful at what he does, which is scoring, has been the Golden State Warriors, because they have had a solid structure. Matter of fact, they probably had a Hall of Fame structure around him. But here's the thing about Durant, and you do the same thing with Chris Paul. You always look at what they could do and you equate that into winning. But here's the thing. Tell me this. You got a guy with a situation in Oklahoma City, a guy who goes to the Golden State Warriors, and a guy that goes to the Brooklyn Nets. Now, you say the Brooklyn Nets, you say your expectations for the Brooklyn Nets was not that high. Okay. I don't know if I'm buying that, but I could buy that from you because I know you are a Knicks fan. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that the Brooklyn Nets are a crosstown rival and you were going against them. But let me ask you this. Why would you have faith in Durant in 3 teams, that could the situation get any better for anybody in the NBA career? Think about this. Let's go to Oklahoma City. How many MVPs have come off that team? Him, Russell Westbrook, and your man Harden, right? All right. They didn't win. Okay. I know the excuse you're gonna say, they're young, they didn't learn how to win, blah, blah, this and that. Okay. All right. We'll ride with that. Let's go to Golden State. Established culture. We can at least say one guy is arguably the greatest shooter of all time, first ballot Hall of Famer. I know you like to give Draymond a lot of credit. So in this situation, we're going to give Draymond the credit that you like to give him, even though I don't think he's that good. But hey, for the sake of the Golden State, the structure of the Golden State Warriors, we're going to ride with your analysis of Draymond Green. Arguably one of the best defensive players of all time, right?
One of the greatest winners of all time.
Greatest winners of all time.
Winning.
Right. Along with you'd say at that time, a prime Klay Thompson when Grant was there, right? All right. Great team. Go down as probably one of the greatest teams of all time. Okay. And you get to Brooklyn. All right. You get to Brooklyn, and arguably it didn't work out, but arguably 3 of the best could have been or projected one of the best big 3 of all time.
Never played together that much. I think 18.
Right. But we could say that it was a big disappointment based on what each of the 3 individuals have done in other situations. Could you agree with that?
I could agree. I 100% agree.
Okay. All right. So it didn't work. All right. And we've seen it didn't work. So here's the thing. So why is Phoenix situation, and I posed this question to you, and I talked to Chuck about this earlier. So being that the situation in Oklahoma City didn't work. The situation in Brooklyn didn't work. We'll say that the situation in Golden State worked.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think a guy who's probably had 3 of the best situations that you could go into, why would you think going to Phoenix, this guy all of a sudden with the aging point guard that you say doesn't have to be whatever you say, with a young superstar who has a lot of potential, Devin Booker, all right? You're probably going to say he's one of the best 2 guards. I'll give you that of the NBA right now. And a big man who promising. We'll say promising. We'll say that his resume is not complete yet. We'll say he has a lot of upside. You agree with that, with Ayton, right?
Former rookie of the year.
Okay, former rookie of the year. But you would say, wouldn't you agree with me that Ayton is not done yet? Wherever he,
I think he can still. I think his game can still grow.
Right. Okay. So,
without it growing, he's still one.
Right. We agree. We can agree that Ayton is on the way up. Can we agree with that? Okay. All right. So why would you think a guy who's been in those situations, Oklahoma City, Golden State, Brooklyn, 3 situations that I guarantee you, maybe if you put Dame Leonard in, he gets multiple rings. That's just my guess. Why would you think that a guy that's going to a situation with a point guard who that you said is not, don't have to be great, whatever your vocabulary is,
but just understand
a young 2 young superstars that we agree are on the way up, why would you think a guy that's been in those situations all of a sudden goes to this situation and it's an instant contender or possibly contend for a championship?
So I'll give
Why would you believe?
I'll give you a couple of reasons. He's playing with people who already went to the finals. 3 key factors, 3 key Paul, Ayton, and Devin have already been to the finals. So he's wait. So he's
much like Westbrook and Harden with the Heat.
But we could disregard that because they were young in their career. We could disregard that. We could say he was
okay. So is not Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, aren't they young players as well?
They've both been in the league for at least 4 or 5. Well, Devin's been here probably 7, 8 years now.
But is he a young player?
He's a young player based on when he came out when he was, 18, 19?
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you, is he a young player?
What's your definition of young? No, seriously, what's your definition of young?
I don't understand. I don't understand this. So
he's been in the league 7, 8 years. That's a young player, but he's a veteran too.
So now he's a veteran. See how you changed that when I asked you? I said two budding. Okay, I'm not going to be a wordsmith with that. So Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton at the Phoenix Suns right now were better than Russell Westbrook.
I never said that. I said they were.
Asking you that. I'm asking you that because here's the point I'm trying to drive home. You're telling me, my question to you is this.
Oh, Devin Booker was better than Harden then. Devin Booker was better than everyone on that roster except for maybe Westbrook at the time. And it's debatable. You can actually debate, was he better than Westbrook at the time?
Okay, well, can we agree that on both teams, Kevin Durant has 2 young superstars?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not going to be a wordsmith. I'm not going to let you try to get me on.
You could say he had 1 because Harden didn't even come into his full self while he was over there.
But we both can agree that on both teams, the Phoenix Suns and the Oklahoma City Thunder, he had 2 young superstars, right? Okay. Whether I know you like to get in specifics when it comes to comparing. So again, just like I said, 2 young superstars. So you're saying that the superstars on the 2 young superstars, Ayton and Booker on the Phoenix Suns, give Kevin Durant a better chance of winning an NBA championship versus a young Harden and a young Westbrook. That's what you're saying?
Yes, because I will say their game is more mature and their understanding of the game is more mature than those 2 players were at the time.
Okay, we'll say that's opinion. But if we go numbers, that tandem is better than this tandem. But Again, we can both agree that they're both young superstars, right? That can be arguably,
as someone who went to Division I basketball, who knows sports,
yes.
you're telling me the maturity level of their basketball. No. Listen,
I'm listening to you.
Their growth and maturity level in basketball. Westbrook was further along than what Devin Booker is right now when he was with OKC.
Yeah, let me answer. Can I answer the question now?
You can answer it, because if you say yes, then the Baker, you fronting right.
No. I'm not fronting. Here's the thing. I don't care about maturity. All I'm saying is, for comparison, this is your comparison. I'm trying to show you how your comparison, you're trying to flip-flop on me. Whether they're more mature or not, they both had the same result. Both went to the NBA Finals with Kevin Durant, right?
Cool.
I mean, well, both been to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, both been to the NBA Finals, but they did.
Okay. Oh, wait. They both been to the NBA Finals, right? Okay. All right. So that's comparable. Okay. All right. So again, go back to my question. You're going to sit on here and tell me, and you can't give me any reason, this is just your opinion. You mean to tell me that you saying that Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton are more mature, right?
Their game is more mature than what it was when he was with OKC.
Are they more mature? What does their game is more mature? What does that even mean?
Baker, it's like going into the professional world. You go to your job. 5 years ago, you in your job. You think you're the same person now, or you think you could make more? You could critically think a little bit better and make better decisions because you're a more seasoned professional.
Okay, so you say critically think for that particular example, right? Again, my question to you is, you say maturity. What does that mean? So you mean to tell me that Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, I don't want to use the word better because you're not going to agree with me, but you're saying they're more mature. You saying that they put Kevin Durant in a better position to win a championship than what a young Russell Westbrook and a young James Harden. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying right now, because their understanding of the game and knowing how to play the game and their experience of going to the finals
gives them a better chance.
When he went to OKC, when he was at OKC and went to the finals, that was his second year or first year in the league. He's just learning how to play. Talent-wise, he'll probably never be around that type of talent ever again. But sometimes it's not about the talent. It's about knowing how to look at the Spurs. Spurs, they always have the most talented team.
Okay, so what does Andre Ayton and Devin Booker do that makes you feel like they give him a chance to go to the finals? Please enlighten me on this.
Please enlighten you. Okay, so
because you keep telling me it's maturity.
Let me correct something you said earlier, because we're not even going to count Brooklyn because they had Steve Nash as the first-time coach or whatever. You in Phoenix with a top 5 coach of the year. I think he was coach of the year twice, maybe twice. I think he was coach of the year twice. You're already playing with a mastermind who's like an Eric Spoelstra, Popovich, that type of level of coach with the X's and O's.
Monty Williams?
Monty Williams.
Okay, what evidence other than a Coach of Year award do you have of that?
What evidence? His record. He's constantly been wherever he's went, whether it was the Pelicans or whether he's always taken his team to the playoffs with great records. His teams have always competed, played great games, and so forth.
Okay. I know you supporting black coaches, so I'm not going to give you that, but I know that. But that's not to me, that's opinion.
Top 5. So you're saying he's not a top 5 coach in this league?
It doesn't matter. I'm talking about Durant then and Durant now with the players he had. I'm not talking about Monty Williams.
Durant now. I'll tell you
Monty Williams. Listen. Monty Williams right now is no different than when Scott Brooks was when they went to the finals. He's a coach that went to the finals and he lost. So that's not even comparable. That's opinion. Okay. And I get it. I give you your credit, black coach. I'm with you. I think he's a good coach, but he hadn't done nothing yet different than the average guy that went to the finals. So let's just throw that out. You're trying to use a coach. Let's throw that out. Let's stay on the players. Let's not. Monty Williams has not won a championship yet. So that comparison doesn't work as far as being superior to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I'll give you that part, because I will say he had lesser talent with the Pelicans and he took them to the playoffs.
Okay, whatever. That's your opinion.
We'll get off the coaching.
Because the coaching, that's not
we'll
valid.
get off the coaching aspect. But I will say, that right now, Devin Booker is a better all-around player than what Harden was in OKC.
So you
Devin
got
Booker.
that comparison.
Devin Booker, huh?
Okay. That's opinion. You still ain't giving me nothing facts-wise. That's opinion.
So then no one can give anything fast. We have to see
exactly. That's my point. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get you and everybody else who thinks that you're going to automatically put them in the championship or automatically win the West. Exactly. You have no facts. You're taking the same guy from Oklahoma City, the same guy who went to Brooklyn. You're taking that same guy and you're putting him in the lead role. And
but you can't compare those two examples.
Yes, you can. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. This Phoenix team, right now, we don't know that they were that much better than that Oklahoma City team. The only case study or comparison that we have of him winning a championship is him being with a Hall of Fame cast behind him. And that is my point. I'm trying to get you and everybody else who thinks that KD, because unlike y'all looking at the talent, I'm looking at the intangibles, just like we talked about with Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. This guy has no intangibles.
But
you're gonna tell me, and I'm telling you this team in Phoenix with an older Chris Paul, with two young superstars, much like Harden and Westbrook, who have the potential to be great. Both of them might even be MVP. I'll say Booker will be a league MVP. I don't know about Ayton. It's the same comparison. And you're going to sit here, just like much of the other NBA, much of the other reporters, Skip Bayless, all you Kevin Durant purists, you're going to sit here and put him in the Western Conference Championship with basically the same team talent-wise, because what I'm trying to get you to understand is this. This Phoenix team, much like the Oklahoma City team, are not the Golden State Warriors. And I believe, just like he's shown me before, that if you don't have a cast like the Golden State Warriors, and Chuck made a good point, it might have been better for him to go to Miami. You don't have that. He's shown you, if you don't have that Hall of Fame cast behind him, he's the same Kevin Durant. He has to win with a Steph Curry type of player, influence. He has to win with a prime Klay Thomas influence. He has to win with a Draymond, your guy, who you think knows how to win, great defensive player. There's nothing like that in Phoenix. Say what you want about Monty Williams. Great coach and mastermind. Okay, great coach and mastermind. Top 5 coach of the league, coach of the year, right? The guy, as talented as he is, and that's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand about this guy. This guy does not have any intangibles. This guy can only win. He's shown us. He can only win with your great Draymond Green, with a great top 5 shooter, if not arguably the best shooter of all time. A supporting cast who has won championships, a supporting cast who is proven they know how to win. This Phoenix team, to me, is no different than the Oklahoma City team. You want to sit here and talk about Chris Paul? You don't have a prime Chris Paul. You want to sit here and talk about a DeAndre Ayton? He's not going to get the shots that he got when KD wasn't there. You want to sit here and talk about Devin Booker?
I think that's a matter of opinion, because I actually think his game is going to be a lot easier on Ayton because he won't double team.
But Gerard, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, I'm giving you facts. You giving me projections. You're taking what you think DeAndre Ayton can do. You're taking what you think.
But you're saying that Ayton's not going to get the shots. That's not a fact.
Gerard, how is he going to get the shots when you got two guys that you have to give the ball?
It's the same way that it happens.
It's the same way. Gerard,
It's the same way.
just stick to the facts. Stop looking at opinion. That's what I'm saying. Y'all give
First of all, the scoring averages can go up. The amount of possessions can go up on offense when you're playing with such a good offense.
All right.
I personally think he's going to get 15 to 17 shots a game.
Let's just take out the fantasy part. Let's take out what you think they can be. Do you honestly think? And you're a basketball purist.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. You have great takes. I just think sometimes, like you've been in New York, you be in the skies too much. You want to look at, if you put this together, that's gonna be great. If you put this together, that's gonna be great. But let's just take out the fantasy. Do you honestly think with Kevin Durant coming there, with Devin Booker, don't you agree both of them are arguably top 5 scorers in the league? In order for them to score, Gerard, they got to get the ball.
I think
hold on, wait.
Let's just. I think their game has matured enough that they share the game, and I've been watching.
But let's just use logic. Mm-hmm. Let's stop projecting what we think they can be. Let's just use pure logic. Mm-hmm. Do you honestly think that DeAndre Ayton is going to get the shots that he usually gets with Kevin Durant being there with Devin Booker? Let's just take out the fantasy. Let's just take out what they could be. Do you think it's enough balls for Monty Williams to draw up plays that DeAndre Ayton is going to get the same amount of attempts with Kevin Durant being there?
I think what's going to happen is, one, you're going to see minutes staggered. You're going to see him in different lineups with him and Chris Paul possibly coming in the second quarter, playing a little bit more overlapping minutes. That's one. But even without that, what you're not understanding is that they all share the game. They're all unselfish players. And there's going to be games where they're going to go with the mismatch, and that's where Chris Paul comes into the game. Chris Paul is going to say, you have it going, I'm going to give it to you. You have it going, I'm going to give it to you. You can't double team anybody because you have to respect everybody on the court. The game is going to become easier for everybody, just like what it was with the Warriors.
That's what, right. Great point. Great point. Do you think Klay Thompson got the same amount of shots when Kevin Durant came there before Kevin Durant came there? You think Klay Thompson got the same amount of shots? Gerard, just stick to the facts. Stop trying to make it a we are.
Look it up. I have to look at the facts because
all right. So when we come back, not the next episode, when we come back after that, I want you to look at his, because I already know what it is. I just don't want to make you look bad on this argument. We'll look at his attempts when Durant got there versus when Durant wasn't there, prime Klay Thompson. Okay? So, again, you want to live in the fantasy world, you seem to think that DeAndre Ayton's numbers are going to stay the same or get better, that's fine. But I'm just telling you this. Let's stick to the facts. Kevin Durant has won a championship with what? You talk about supporting cast. The Phoenix Suns don't have a supporting cast like the Golden State Warriors. I don't care what you project. They have 2 young superstars, much like the Oklahoma City Thunder had, and they got an ailing point guard. Now, you want to sit here just like the rest of the league, and you want to think that Phoenix has the structure together to somehow, some way win the NBA championship? Be my guest. But I'm telling you what the facts say based on this guy, Kevin Durant, your guy.
So you're telling me that they're not gonna make it to the finals?
Who?
Phoenix.
Yeah, whether they make, I don't think they're gonna make it to the finals. No.
First round exit?
I didn't say first round, but I think the talent.
Round exit?
I think the talent will get them to the second round.
So who do you think they can't beat then?
Once again, see what you're doing? You're looking.
No, I'm asking you.
I'm finna tell you. I'm finna tell you. Because you, like much of the NBA, you're looking at talent, right? Right? Like
I'm not looking at talent. Right? I'm looking at fit.
Okay, fit then. Because your notion on fit is based on what you think Kevin Durant can do with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, right?
I feel like it fits everyone in the
answer the
role.
Question, don't you? You making like projections, right?
Into the perfect role.
Right. You're looking at projections, right? Right?
Yeah.
Right. You're looking at how many points did Kevin Durant average?
I'm not looking at projections and averages. I'm looking at fit. That's all I'm looking at. I'm saying that Durant only has to score. He doesn't have to do anything else.
Okay.
He has two playmakers that can make for him.
Okay. And the last time he had two playmakers, whether it was Brooklyn or whether it was Oklahoma City, he didn't win a championship. He didn't win a championship. But in Golden State, listen, in Golden State, where he had two Hall of Fame shooters and he had a guy that did the defensive work and guys that really knew how to win, established guys who win not just off of points, but know how to do it, that's when he won.
So you're telling me that what you're saying from your assessment is that you're saying that Phoenix don't have people that know how to win.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying. You got Chris Paul, who never won a championship. You got Devin Booker, who's not proven yet. You got DeAndre Ayton, who didn't show up in the finals. That's exactly what I'm saying.
So
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Are you saying they don't know how to win, or are you saying that they just didn't have enough talent to win?
I'm saying to this point right now, I don't care about talent. I'm telling you right now, they don't know how to win. That's exactly that's my point. You've been missing that. That's exactly what I've been saying. With guys who don't know how to win, he can't take them over the top. That's exactly what I've been saying. You're just not getting it now? Because he's proven that to us. He's proven that he's won a championship with guys who's won championships before he got there. Yeah, we know that. That's why he probably should have went to Miami. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what the facts say, not projections. And you, like everybody else in the NBA, who keeps thinking that, with the right mix, with the right guys, they're going to, this guy has shown.
The facts weren't saying.
This guy has shown you that with the 3-4 teams that he's been with, he can only win with Hall of Fame.
So that had nothing to do with the fact that he played 3 Hall of Famers and Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James when he was a rookie, when he was coming out.
No, because once again, there was no Steph, there was no Clay, there was no Draymond.
But who was he playing? So that goes back to the whole Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller.
It doesn't. Well, whatever you want to say, it doesn't matter. The facts show that the only time he's won 2 championships is when he's played with Hall of Famers.
It wasn't when he played with Hall, it was when he played with the best team in the NBA.
Okay, Hall of Famers. Is Steph not a Hall of Famer? I mean, tell me. Establish Hall of Famers at that, because I do think that Russell Westbrook would be a Hall of Fame. I do think
with the team that already won the chip before him.
That's my point, Gerard. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand.
I get that.
That's my point.
You're taking away from his previous years. I'm not mad that he didn't beat LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh.
However you want to spin it, I agree with you. I'm just telling you.
All I can say is
that's all I'm saying. However you want to spin it. They were too young. They weren't established. They didn't know. However you want to spin it. They didn't know how to win. However you want to spin it. However, whatever you want to say. Scott Brooks wasn't ready yet. Russ wasn't ready yet. Harden wasn't ready yet. Whatever you want to say, I'm fine with it.
From my assessment,
I'm just telling you.
He's playing with a team. He's playing with people
telling you the 3 situations that he's been in previous to this. This is the facts. The 3 situations he's been involved with. 2 NBA MVPs. Arguably one of them.
You can't use that, Baker.
Okay, all right. Well, let's take that out.
You talking about
I'm using that. The reason why I'm using that is because you talk about talent. We know that talent was superior in Oklahoma City. We know that. We knew that then. They were special. I'm saying this, however you want to spin it. See, you, like everybody else that do fantasy, and you look at what he's got, the talent he's got. My point is this, just like we said about Mahomes, just like we said about Jalen, it's character. And he does not have enough character. He's not enough leader to take young superstars such as Devin Booker, such as DeAndre Ayton. You want to throw in a Hall of Fame coach, you want to throw in the top 5, whatever you want to put with Phoenix. He's shown you. Now, he may do it. I have serious doubts that he's going to do it because I've seen who he is, and I've seen in order for him to win a championship.
He doesn't have to lead them. He just has to play the role that Chris Paul is going to set everything up for them. Chris Paul is the leader of that team. Chris Paul is the head of the snake. He just has to do the rest.
However you want to spin it, however you want to project it, however you want to predict it. And you might end up being right. But as of right now, today, February the 15th, he is yet to show you, outside of Hall of Fame players, that he's going to win a championship. I don't know why you think Phoenix is different. The structure is not there.
I think the pieces are the right pieces.
I know, because you like
in my honest opinion, I think
right. In your opinion,
when you look at
much like Skip Bayless, and all you guys that look at his talent, his superior talent.
I'm not looking at that.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Because if you wasn't thinking about that, it's no way you would put them in a championship based on his resume.
When I saw that come together, I put them in a championship because I feel like everyone's allowed to play the role that they excel in.
And what you said is exactly right. You feel like.
I know that he's playing the role that he excels in.
You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Feel or no? I'm telling you, previous to this point, the facts say, you can project all you want. It hadn't been done yet. The facts say he doesn't have it to do it with this structure. And until he does it, and y'all will make excuse for him again when he doesn't do it, just like y'all been doing, until he does it, the facts say, outside of a Golden State Warriors type of structure, he can't do it. So until then, you can project much like everybody else. Oh man, let's do and you know what? I give you credit. We're gonna start to incorporate that on the show. You do fantasies, you bet. So I understand you have a creative mindset. That's why I love you. That's why I love you on the show, because I love the way you play GM. But I'm just telling you, the facts say with this guy up to this point, if he's not playing around established winners, Hall of Famers, I don't care what you say about Aiden. I don't care what you say about Booker. And you know I ain't buying Chris Paul. He played with us. Whatever you want to say, that's your opinion. You feel, you project, you see. He's got a great coach now. He's got 2 young superstars. He's got this, he's got that. Great. I'm with you. But until he does it up to this point right now, and you can't argue with me on this, he has yet to do it outside of a Golden State structure. And here's the thing. We have enough comparisons to show you up to this point. You may feel that I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We have enough comparisons to see that without your Draymond Green, the guy you say that knows how to win, without your arguably the best shooter of all time, and you were one of the guys back in the day, hey man, Klay Thompson played both ends. I'm with you 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Without that structure, up to this point, he ain't gotten it done. So I'm not as confident in this Aiden, Booker, this ailing Chris Paul. I'm not confident in that, because up to this point, he ain't showed me that. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully we come back in June and you say, see, I told you that's all he needed.
I just disagree, because I believe that.
Yeah, it's belief.
No. Because he's already with a team that kind of like Golden State, except for they didn't win a chip, but they went to the finals. They showed that they could make it to the finals.
Well, and you're wrong on that, because Golden State won before he got there. They won. They didn't go to the finals. They won the NBA.
No. I told you that's the only difference. They didn't win, but they went to the finals without him.
Okay. Well,
now they're adding him.
Okay. So
Now they're
again,
adding him to
right,
experience
right.
of making it to the finals.
And you, like much other people, look at things and say they've been there and that's all they need. Great.
I can't wait for playoffs.
I mean, hey, I'm just saying. That's why I wanted you to tell me, because again, the facts don't say what you're saying.
I mean, the facts say he didn't win in Oklahoma. He didn't win in Brooklyn. I don't count Brooklyn because they play 18.
All right, well, don't count Brooklyn then.
Yeah. But I'll give you Brooklyn.
Don't count
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
I will say my reasoning for saying that he can win in Phoenix is because everyone has a set role, and that plays a big part.
Your projections. You're
right.
projecting. You're projecting. It's great. That's why I love you on this show, because sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. But I'm just saying, as of now, today, if the world was to end, he has yet to prove it. And I'm not, unlike you, I'm not going to get caught up in the fantasy, because here's the thing. I got caught up in, when I see him 7 foot, what he's able to do, I got caught up in it. I was a big Oklahoma City advocate. But it's something about this guy.
I'm not a Durant fan, but I'm a fan of the game.
Right. You're a fan of the game, but I'm just telling you, I'm not projecting. See, I can project with Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
I can project with Mahomes because at the end of the day, Mahomes is able to win with the less talent this year because of the intangibles.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need a Klay Thompson. He's shown you that. He don't need a Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Durant hasn't done that. Up to this point, he hadn't done. Now, you could project all you want to. You could say everybody's going to do their role. You can say all of that. Great. I'm not going for it because I know what the guy is. As talented as he is, doesn't have any intangibles. You can sit here and say, well, he doesn't have to lead on this team. Well, he's got 2 young superstars. He doesn't have a Draymond Green. He doesn't have guys that's been to the promised land without him. That's why Golden State was the perfect situation for him. Outside of Golden State, whether you want to give it to Harden, Kyrie, lack of coaching, he is yet to do it.
See, it's going to be interesting,
Yeah. Let's just do a few more. We're going to do 1 or 2 more topics, man, because I feel like I know I won this debate.
I'm gonna let you have the debate.
Yeah, because I got the facts back.
I remember when we was talking and I was saying Durant is gonna go for 3 or more picks. He was like, no, he's not. I'm telling you.
Right. But again, you're right on that. But at the end of the day, my debate is I still don't think he's worth it. That's still subject. It's still subject to opinion. It's still subject because the Suns hadn't won yet. Now, if they win, then I'll sit back. I'll come on this show and say, you know what? Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, Cole was right. I was wrong. I was hard on the young man. But it's still up for debate. That's why they call it debate with bait, baby.
You'll see.
Because I stick to the facts. I don't go off of, But I mean, it's all good, man. That's what makes it so fun.
I'll let you have this one.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta let me have this, man.
But when it comes to fit and everything, I just think the pieces fit perfectly. I think it's like a puzzle over there right now. So I believe in Chris Paul. I think you lost confidence in Chris Paul, and I actually think he got something left in the tank.
I haven't lost confidence in Chris Paul. I'm just accepting Chris Paul for what he is right now. You haven't. You still living in the fantasy land. Chris Paul, that's what I'm saying, Gerard. We have to stop. You know why we get so frustrated with these superstars? We have to stop believing in what they show you on their great games. We have to believe in what they are, what they've shown you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I've gone on record and tell you that Russell Westbrook is one of my favorite players.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what the knock I have to deal with? And we're going to get to this, and then we're going to get to this next question, then we're going to shut it down. But the knock I have to deal with is this. I don't like the criticism that Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless say. They say he's reckless. They say he's a cancer. I really don't believe that because he's one of my favorite players all time. I love the way he plays. I love his effort. I'm a anybody type of guard. Not anybody, but I'm a guy that likes to, I think I love guards that can do everything. Post up, rebound, dunk, shoot, and all that. I'm a fan of the triple double as a point guard. Oscar Robinson, Magic. I love that. Jordan, I love that because that's how I used to play. But the fact of the matter is that I have to accept the fact, no matter how much I love Russell Westbrook, no matter how much I love his intensity, how he plays, I have to accept the fact that he's a turnover machine. And I would make excuses like, well, he's turning the ball over because he's trying to make a play. I don't even think you remember. I told you, and I had to catch myself on this. I told you in Oklahoma City, and this is my fault. I told you this a long time ago. I said, man, you know the reason why Russ ended up playing the way he played is because he kept waiting for Durant to step up and do what he's supposed to do, and he didn't. So that's why Russ just took over. And that's why, but at the end of the day, that's what I used to tell myself. But at the end of the day, I have to accept the fact, no matter what, even though he's one of my favorite players, he turns the ball over too much. I can't sit up here and say I criticize Brett Favre for turning the ball over and not criticize Russ because I like Russ. And I have to accept the fact that Russ, the way he plays, he may not ever win a championship.
I agree.
Which leads me to my next question. Then we'll wrap it up. He's reportedly weighing options. Right now, he's in Utah. It seems like it's going to be between the Clippers or the Bulls. Now, for the Bulls, the plus for him going there is that he'll push the tempo, and Billy Donovan is there. Billy Donovan will let him play the style that he wants to play, which I think is equals to the triple-double numbers, the highlights, even possible wins for Chicago. Or does he go to the Clippers, who's expressed interest? And if he goes to the Clippers, I think if he goes to the Clippers, this is just my opinion, I think he has to accept that role that he kind of played with the Lakers coming off the bench, contributing. And he's shown, to his credit, he's shown he could do that. I didn't think he could do it, but he did it. Possibly could be the sixth man of the year this year.
I don't think he has to come off the bench, though.
Okay.
They got man playing point guard right now. They got rid of Reggie Jackson, and they're about to cut John Wall. There's nobody over there playing point guard that he wouldn't start over.
Okay. Well, regardless, what's a better fit, the Clippers or the Bulls?
I say for him to have a job next year would be the Bulls. I think this would be a one-year rental with the Clippers. This would be like, let's try to get this chip based off of names, established players based off of names and what you used to be, and hope that, you can rejuvenate some part of your career to get us over the hump. I think going to Chicago, I think with the being unsure about LaMelo Ball, I also think he's a culture changer for Chicago because I think he'll demand more from Zach LaVine. I think Zach LaVine could be passive. I think he'll bring more of that Jimmy Butler mentality back to LaVine, like, hey, you're better than what you are. Play to your potential, play hard. And he doesn't take a night off. I think it'd be less pressure in Chicago. And I think the Chicago fans will love him. So I think Chicago's probably the better fit. But if he wants to chase a chip, I think there's a chance because I think you can play up tempo with what's his face? With Kawhi and Paul.
Kawhi, I mean, talking about the Clippers.
I think they play a lot of small ball. And I think the way that Lou would use him, I think there's potential for him to do well there. It's just that the West is tough, so.
But you don't think if he goes to the Clippers, and see, this is why I think why it didn't work in LA, the Lakers in particular. You don't think with the Clippers, I mean, you say if he goes to the Clippers.
They didn't have shooting. Lakers didn't have shooting for
him. And so you think him having the ball with the Clippers, because he's a ball dominant guy, you don't think that cuts into Kawhi? Because I think that played a factor is why it may not have worked in the Lakers, is that him and LeBron both have to have the ball. You don't think that that'll be the same thing?
I think Kawhi could play off him because remember when you had what's his
Parker?
name? You had Kyle Lowry, you had Parker. Kawhi didn't need the ball. He just needed the ball at the end of the games to take over. The last 3 minutes, 4 minutes, give me the ball, I'll take over. If Westbrook can give up the ball and not take a crazy three-pointer, when it's like a tie
That's
game.
what it is.
And that's what it
Difference
is.
between him and Parker is Parker didn't turn over the ball and have crazy shots. I love Russ, but that's a part of Russ's game.
But all Russ has to understand is that, it's the last 3 minutes of the game. It's quiet time. Let me
That's
just get
why
out
I
of
think.
way.
That's why I think. That's why I think if he goes to the Clippers, in order for it to be successful, it's gonna have to be a role that he similar to the Lakers. I don't think you put him in the starting lineup. If you bring him to the Clippers and you say, hey, we need you, we think you can put us over the top for a championship. And that would be the reason, right? Can we agree they would bring him there, that he would, they're gonna want to try to win right now.
I could agree with that.
So if you put him in the starting lineup, he's ball dominant. Don't you think that ignites who he was at Oklahoma City? How does that work? Like honestly, don't you think that? Because what does he have that they would want that they think will put them over the hump?
I think the difference is with him going to Clippers now is that he's an upgrade from any point guard that they had all season.
But an upgrade, how?
I think
because if you say he's an upgrade,
he still creates. I watched him play the.
Is that prime time? Is that an upgrade? Is that Oklahoma City Russ or is that LA Lakers Russ?
I think it's
because at the end of the day,
I think it's Washington Wizards Russ.
Right. Erratic triple-double machine.
But still makes people better.
But in Washington, there was no Kawhi Leonard. There was no. I think he could play with
Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal led the league in scoring that year.
But they weren't winning. They wasn't contending.
They made the playoffs that year. They got eliminated in the first round, but they made the playoffs.
But were they them versus this Clippers? Clippers have a chance to win the championship. We know that Washington team didn't have a chance to win.
But what I'm trying to say is that Washington Wizards team only had Beal. You're talking about he's playing with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George now.
Right, that's my point. That's what I'm saying.
A bunch of veterans, which is a benefit for him that he's playing with Morris, that he's playing with Zubac, that he's playing with Covington, that he's playing with Batum, because these veterans will know how to accept him into the realm. When you're playing with a young team where people still trying to get contracts and still trying to make their mark in the league, and there's really no leader in the locker room.
But that's the opposite of what you're saying, right? Isn't Chicago young?
Chicago has veterans, but they don't have veterans that done what Westbrook done. So they're kind of forced into respecting Westbrook. I think when it comes to Clippers, you have washed up veterans, but he also has veterans that they're better than Westbrook. So I think Westbrook knows his role. But I think Westbrook can make Clippers better. I just don't know if he could make them better than Phoenix or Denver or even the Mavericks, which to me are the top three teams in the West.
Yeah, well, we know that. We know, again, we know you're part of the Mavericks and the Phoenix Suns. You believe in them guys from Brooklyn. I don't believe in them. I
just don't believe that Grizzlies have enough firepower to beat either one. I don't think that. I only think.
And so you say that with the addition of Kyrie Irving now, the Wizards don't have a chance to beat Dallas in a 7-game series. I mean the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies don't have a chance.
Won't beat them. The Grizzlies wouldn't even beat them with the team that they had before. They can't mess with that. I watched them play Doncic. Doncic eats their food every time. In a
7-game series?
In a 7-game series, they wouldn't have beat Dallas. I watched them play Dallas this year, a couple games.
Without Kyrie Irving.
Without the Kyrie. And now this is with Kyrie.
We just have to disagree on that. But I mean, again,
I really think Grizzlies is overrated, yo. I actually think they're all talk, you know. They're all talk like Ja, man. They all talk, man.
I mean, I could give you that. They ain't done nothing yet, but okay.
I will say only Golden State and only Denver has a chance of beating Phoenix in the Mavericks. I love Sacramento. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think they're smart enough yet. They're young. They're not ready, but I think they have talent. I like watching them. I was watching them the other night. I'm like, yo, I actually like watching the Kings. But when it comes down to it, it's only Denver and Golden State that could beat those two teams, yo. Lakers are not going to make the playoffs.
And the thing about it is, my man going to ride with that based on these trades. He going to ride with that based on these trades.
I'm going to ride with it, yeah.
He gonna ride with that based on these trades. Both of these dudes, I love Kyrie Irving.
I'm gonna go with the 10 that's in there right now, and I'm just gonna name them. Starting with the play-in game, number 10, Utah. Can they beat the Mavericks or the Suns? And you're hesitating, Baker. Don't be sitting here in front. You know they can't beat the Mavericks or the Suns.
No, not Utah. Not Utah.
Minnesota.
Nah, because they lost. Nah, they lost Vanderbilt and the other guys. Nah.
Golden State.
They could. It depends on if they get it together, but they have the tools too. They could beat either one of them. I think
Pelicans.
they could.
Pelicans.
Could they beat Phoenix or yes, they could. I think they could.
I thought
now whether or not they will, but I definitely think, like you say, they got the coaching and they have the talent. I think they do. Yes. Oh yes.
I can agree. I'm not going to argue that.
I know you can't debate that one.
That they could go 7 with them if Ingram and Williamson and
they can beat either one of those teams.
All right, Clippers.
Yes.
Without Westbrook, no. With Westbrook,
yes.
maybe. They can't beat them. They can.
Yes.
We're currently constructed.
Yes.
With Man at point guard, and I like Man. With Man.
Yes. Yes, because here's the thing. Regardless of what you believe, the equalizer, the problem that I don't think Phoenix or nobody can match up with, and I'm not just saying this personally against Phoenix and Dallas, but if Kawhi Leonard is doing what Kawhi Leonard could do, who the hell can stop him? And that includes Durant. That includes Luka.
And you know me, I'm one of the biggest Kawhi Leonard fans.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to make you go back on your belief because at the end of the day, you said on this you said on this podcast at the beginning of the season and said you agree with me that the Clippers have a chance to beat anybody before there's even a thought of Westbrook. So yes, if you don't think that, then you got to recant your statement because you sat on this podcast with me and said the Clippers are the team to beat. Without Westbrook, yes, they can beat them.
No. I said that. But
and I don't care what you say about Durant.
I said that they're healthy.
Huh? Okay.
Kawhi hasn't been consistently playing.
Okay, Gerard. For the sake of fantasy, let's just say we take the best from each team. Lord Jesus. Now we got to put being hurt as if to say Durant or Chris Paul ain't never hurt. See, that's what kills me about you. You sat here and said on this podcast, that's what I'm saying. That's what Durant does to you guys. You sat here and said on this podcast that the Clippers have a chance to win the NBA championship as they are built, if healthy. Then you turn around, right? Then you turn around and say, because Durant went to Phoenix now, because Kyrie went to Dallas, now you're questioning whether or not the Clippers.
Because he had an easier road in the West before. He had an easy road in the West. No one expected that.
Get out of the fantasy, man.
No one expected that.
You don't believe it? I think the Clippers can beat them.
So could I ask you a question? So you're telling me if Kyrie would have went to Lakers, you wouldn't have been saying that the Lakers would have won the West?
No.
I would have, even if Durant is with Phoenix, if Kyrie would have went to the Lakers, I would have said the Lakers would be winning.
No.
I wouldn't have a problem with them for getting the play-in game and being the 10th seed and winning all the way through.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Wow.
Because I'm gonna stick with what I said, what you said. I believe if Kawhi Leonard is healthy and that team under the coaching and guidance of Tyronn Lue, I still think that team is the best team. If all cylinders are go.
I would say I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Phoenix or Denver or Dallas if they get Westbrook. As presently constructed, I don't think they can beat. As presently constructed with the new changes, with the changes,
listen,
with the trades, as presently constructed.
It's getting late and you getting delusional. You sat on this podcast and told me,
but that was before the trades. Like you got to take that
again. I'm not. First of all, you ain't even seen Phoenix yet with Durant. You just going out for projections, okay? And then Kyrie Irving, Luka, great offensively, but they gave away their best defender. They have nobody to defend, but you want to put them in just like most of the fantasy leagues and all.
Torrey Craig.
Okay.
They got Josh Okogie.
All right, man. Go to the next team. Go, because you
The
getting.
Grizzlies.
Can they beat Phoenix or Dallas?
No, they can't.
Yes, I believe they can.
You don't believe that.
Yes, I do.
Say that. You just say that because
no. Listen. You're going off talent wise. You're going off of who's gritty, who's tough. Yes, but here's the thing. I think the Grizzlies can beat anybody other than Golden State.
In a 7-game series,
they could. Not saying that they will.
They could beat Denver. They could beat Denver.
They could.
No, they can't. No, they can't. They can't even beat the Knicks in a 7-game series.
All right, go ahead. Who's the next team?
The next one, and the only one is Sacramento and Denver, the last two.
Sacramento and Denver. Denver can definitely beat both of them. Sacramento, no.
Okay.
Sacramento doesn't. Sacramento is just figuring it out. And I haven't seen them, much like your Phoenix Suns. I haven't seen them in action yet in the playoffs together. So I'm not a fantasy guy, like, you know. I'm just
being fantasy. I'm telling you facts. Memphis cannot beat
them. Oh, you talking about Memphis? I thought you was talking about your beloved Phoenix Suns.
Oh, no.
So here's what he's gonna do from now on, ladies and gentlemen. Every time Phoenix plays and they win, he's gonna call me. He's gonna tell me they're gonna win. They're gonna win. And when they lose, he's gonna make an excuse. Durant didn't play. You know, Chris Paul went on his best. So this is what he's gonna do.
I hope Melo signs with them and get his chip with him.
Now we got Melo. Now we're bringing Melo into the conversation now.
We gotta give him.
I mean, this guy grew up in the 90s, but I think he's a part of this era. But anyway, we're gonna stop it right there because this is draining me hearing this fantasy talk. But it's been real, of course, from Mo City to New York. We'll catch up next week and do it again. Stick around, ladies and gentlemen. We will start earlier next week. From now on, we're going to start 7:00 Eastern time for Cole's benefit. I think the lack of rest is messing with his mind and his logic, getting caught up in the fantasy play. But hey,
I want everyone to remember him talking this day and remember how he was talking about Durant.
Right. And I want everybody
to wear a Phoenix Suns jersey.
Okay. And I will agree to wear a Phoenix Suns jersey if they win the championship. But unlike that, Chuck, I don't think they're going to win. So I don't need to go out and spend my money right now. So again, from Mo City to New York, stream this on Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you get your podcasts. You got to come back because Cole is the host. He's much like Skip Bayless. He's going to always make the crazy predictions, and that's what makes this show balanced. I'm the logical one. I'm the one that likes to debate on facts. Cole is the one that puts the crowd in the seats. He's the one that's going to make everybody go, did that guy really say that? And here's the thing, when he turns up to be right, he's going to come on here and brag, much like Skip Bayless, but he has been right. But again, follow us on Mo Serious Entertainment, Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe to Mo Serious ENT Entertainment on YouTube. Catch us next week. God bless. And God bless to the fantasy players and to my
Go Durant, man. Let's go.
Go Durant. We out.